All right. I think this worked. I think that we're live. Anyway, what am I doing today? I am assembling a Basement Technologies Bulldog water grabber. That's what I'm doing today. Uh, I know earlier somebody had commented on the guitar video that I posted. That was for Dylan of Dylan Talks Tone, because he makes custom pickups, and I was thinking about getting a pair of his because they look good from what I can see. But that was about. I was showing him how this one guitar that I'm setting up for a specific purpose just sounds like trash. So, but that's what the guitar video was about earlier. I was showing Dylan from Dylan Talks Tone the problems I'm having with that guitar because I'm going to order a set of custom pickups from him. Anyway, today what am I doing? Once again, I'm assembling a Bulldog water grabber from Basement Technologies for my dad, who's out doing other jobs right now. The babies are asleep, so it's a good time to do it. So anyway, let me take this apart real quick because I just started. The first thing you got to do is you got to drill holes in the bottom. It might be hard to see that way. Actually, it's probably easier to see this way. You got to drill holes in the bottom of this so the water can drain out. This is the sump pit liner, which is actually going to be inset down into the ground, and they're going to lay concrete right up to the edge of it. But anyway, okay. So anyway, how it's going to be installed is this edge is going to be facing the wall. That's the first thing one of the first things you have to figure out is how that's going to go. You've got to get a piece of the PVC pipe, measure it. You just want it to be sticking out through the top. There's a lid that goes on this, which I'll show you later. But you want this pipe just to be sticking out through the top. All right, so before I do anything else, because I still got to cut some holes, I'm going to get that out of there so it doesn't get damaged. All right, next thing, you see how they have these perforated holes on the side? These are for, excuse me, for various ports that you would put in. In this case, I need to cut out this big one for this, which is called a drop-down tee. The drop-down tee is what this system uses a square pipe that runs along the perimeter, so it fits into the square hole, and then it drops down. It's a T shape, and it drops down into the liner. So I got to cut this hole out, and I got to find myself some duct tape because I just secure it there with duct tape. After it's concreted in, it stays in place, but just for right now. But anyway, so I'm going to cut out this perforated hole here. Comes a little easier if you stand in it. It keeps it still. So this is going to go right into here. Right now it doesn't because it's the hole's a little big. That's why I usually tape it in place. But what they do is this lays down in a big hole that they dig, and then it gets surrounded with stone. So the stone and concrete and everything else will keep this into place, but I'm going to have to find some duct tape to keep it in place before I have my dad come pick it up. All right. So that's one thing. Let's see what you guys are saying. AIDS is responsible for this. Thanks, Gabe. Gabe. Okay. Next thing. This is what they call a Ranger drain. But this is for, okay, so this side is going to be facing the wall. This faces a little bit in towards the center of the room, so should any water, for a couple reasons. One, if any water gets on the floor, it'll go into the drain and drain into the basket. Or if you ever wanted to wash your basement floor, if you were going to like refinish it or seal your basement floor or something, then you can wash it and just sweep all the water right into the basket or into the drain here. But this is what this is for. And there's another hole, a smaller hole here that's pre-punched for that. But you know what, usually I don't like that hole because usually they are, that sounds so wrong, but usually I don't like those prefab punches because they're not at the right level. If you use this upper one, it's too high. If you use this lower one, it's too low. So what I normally end up doing is I just end up cutting a new one anyway, and I'm going to see if I can do that, if I can find my hole saw. If not, I'm going to have to do it on the fly, which I don't like doing, but you got to do what you got to do. All right, first I have to glue this Ranger drain together. Okay, so let's see here. Primer, I can get it open. Prime that, prime the inside of this ring. Let it sit for a second. You got your cement here. This one actually isn't holding pressure, so this one doesn't have to be absolutely perfect. That's why I'm only gluing one side. This is not holding pressure. The stuff that's holding pressure, I do a much better job of gluing. I'm not just so... but that's sufficient for this anyway. I mean, that's going to hold anyway, and it probably would hold pressure, but normally you want to run glue around both sides, but... I'll just take that cardboard ring out. Okay, now there's a like a ping pong ball that goes in here. What happened to that? There we go. All right. So also inside of this Ranger drain, we have there's a ping pong ball that sits in here, and what that does is it prevents you from accidentally dropping a solid object down there, but if it's water, the ball will float and allow the water to come down. So you can see my wife sent me a text message. Let me see what she says. Yes, babies are sleeping. She saw that I was live streaming, so she wanted to know what was going on. I'm right outside of my house door here. The babies are literally right outside the window. They are quiet as church mice right now. Okay. So anyway, so I got that glued together. I also like to put a little glue on this to hold this. They make a ring to make that hole a little narrower. I like to put a little glue on that to keep it in place. I'm going to let that sit in there for a minute before I go any further with this, because it has to sit very still so it doesn't come out of place. Alright. So while I'm waiting to do that, let me see if I could dig up a hole saw real quick. Let me see what everybody's saying in the chat. I gotta take this off. Yeah, I'm wildin'. Yeah, I really do believe in Basement Technologies. If there's a dealer in your state, I highly recommend them if you're going to consider basement waterproofing of any kind in New Jersey, especially where I live. We have a very, very high water table, so it's necessary to have basement waterproofing, and a lot of these systems are very expensive, but they ultimately end up failing. This system is pretty much foolproof. I highly recommend it. You can find all the information you need on it. Ours, the one I used to work for, is Basement Technologies of Central Jersey. I don't work there anymore. I just occasionally help out from time to time when I could spare a few moments. But that's basically what I left doing to be a stay-at-home dad. So this is what I used to be doing on job, but of course I wouldn't be streaming and wasting time talking to you guys. I mean, not that this is a waste of time. I'm saying if I was working and getting paid for doing this, I would obviously be much more prompt because I'm getting paid for it. This one I'm going to take my time and do nice. Okay, so let me see if I can find my hole saw. I guess let me take you guys with me because I don't like those prefab holes. You can still make them work, but I just don't like them, you know, because what's the point of putting those prefab holes in there if they're not at the right height for anything? It doesn't make any sense. Let's see, I think I got a hole saw in here somewhere. If not, I think I have one down in my garage. I've got like 4 toolboxes that are just filled and completely unorganized, so I have no idea what's in any of these. In a little bit, if the babies wake up and I'm still doing this, I might set up there. It's really nice outside today. I have an outdoor playpen I can put them in, which I might do because it's beautiful today. Yeah, well, in Florida, you guys don't have basements usually because of the high water table problem. But it's good to know, Sammy. You might not be in Florida forever. So, all right, I'm in the garage, so I might lose signal down here. Hopefully, I don't. But if it drops out, that's why. Damn, my glasses tint and I can't see a damn thing. Here we go. I think this might be the size. I think I just happened to find it. I'm just feeling around in this toolbox because I can't see. I got those glasses that tint. The problem is they don't untint fast enough. And here's a bigger one. All right. I got a real big hole saw too. Let me see. No, that's not one. All right, I got these two. I'm pretty sure the smaller one I think is big enough. I could always widen it a little bit with the hole saw. I'd rather do that than cut an overly big hole and have a lot of play in there. So yeah, because basically this system was invented by a guy in Boston who was sick of having his basement flood. He was actually a scientist who lived in Boston. And he had a couple different systems installed and they all failed. So he said, well, screw it. Like I'm a scientist or an engineer or whatever the heck he was. So I'm going to invent my own. So this is the system that he invented. So the products are proprietary. You can't get them just anywhere. You have to be, I believe you have to be a dealer to be able to get a hold of the Basement Technologies products. Yeah, it's just about right. Okay. Really, the hole needs to be drilled about right in the center of these two, which is, you know, I don't know why they just don't fix that, you know. All right, I'm gonna mark this first. Actually, let's go get a marker. Ouch. I have an itch. All right, let's go get a marker, folks. I should probably drill a pilot hole too first because it'll help me center that hole a little bit better. There you go. Fine Sharpie. That works good. They don't mark anything up too bad. Babies are sleeping, so I don't want to slam that door too hard. All right. So let's see. Let me borrow this piece of pipe real quick. Actually, I don't even really need to. I'll just mark the center hole and then... Actually, I'm going to have to change this back out and drill a smaller one. Still, let me estimate and make sure that that's going to be right. Yeah, literally, like right about in the center. That's where it always is. Usually, I would hold the pipe up and draw a hole, but I'm just thinking now that that's a stupid way to do it. I don't know why I didn't think of this earlier. That's one thing about me, and I noticed about, you know, another guy that I worked with, God bless him, but he does things one way, and he doesn't ever try to think of or ever think of better ways to do things. He's satisfied with the way that he does things, and he just keeps on that level. Whereas me, if I think of a better way to do something, I'm gonna try to do it that better way. He doesn't care, you know. He's on the clock. That's all he cares about, is getting his hours in. All right, let me get a bigger bit and make that hole a tiny bit bigger first before I keep going. What size is this? All right, this should be big enough now after this. Okay. So now where did I put that hole? So here it is. All this is going to be, you're never going to see any of this because it's all going to be underground. You're only going to see the top of this. But it's still nice to try to get things as perfect as you can. All right. I'm gonna have to widen it up a little bit, but I'd rather do that than make a hole that's way too big. I just kind of dropped this off to me and was like, here, do it. Like, you know, I didn't have all my stuff, like the proper sized hole saw out. But Mayor Ostrich, I saw you earlier. You commented on the guitar video. I don't know if you were in here, but I made that video because there's a guy that makes custom guitar pickups. He has a company called Dylan Talks Tone, and he makes custom guitar pickups. I made that video for him to show him. It's the pickups are garbage. I know what's wrong with it. I was showing him that because I wanted him to suggest a pickup to put in it that would take care, and I explained to him what I wanted to use that guitar for. So he got back to me. We had a phone conversation this morning. He seems like a real cool guy. So, and I'm not that I'm for boutique products, but I like craftsmen and people that take pride in the work that they do, rather than just mass-produced stuff. So it's not that mass-produced is bad, but I like to support people who make a good product themselves. So that's why I happened to stumble upon his page this morning, so I gave him a call, and yeah, he got back to me, so it was real nice. He has a YouTube page. I'd plug it if I knew the link, but it's Dylan Talks Tone. Almost there. I'll have to get my razor blade after this and clean it up a little bit. I'm just kind of shaving a little bit away as I go. I don't want to make it too big. I think that'll be good. Let me go get my utility knife and clean up that a little bit. So I was checking on the babies and stuff too. Let's see what everybody's saying in the chat. See you later, Sam. Yeah, the guy Dylan, he sounds like a real cool guy. So, you know, I'm gonna, he recommended his 8-ball pickups, his 8-ball humbuckers. So that's the one I'm gonna try. Once I get a few extra dollars. My birthday's coming up, so maybe I could talk my dad into getting me a early birthday present. It looks a little bit cleaner. It's not pretty, but it doesn't have to be. Like I said, this is all going to be underground. Alright, so we got to take a little bit more off the top here. Be careful when using the razor, kiddies. Oh, come on. There we go. All right. All right, this piece of pipe I'm using for that, so let's cut ourselves a new piece. Doesn't need to be very long. Okay. It seems like this is glued pretty good now. All right, so let's glue these two parts together. A little primer in there. A little primer here. glue. Together for a second. All right, the ping pong ball back in. Screw this back on top. This blue coating comes off. That's just to protect it a little bit from scratches and concrete while the work is being done. And boom, there's the Ranger drain. All right, I don't think I'm forgetting anything. I think we can start assembling our way up now. Let's put the pump back down in here. Actually, first let me get all these crumbs out of here. All right. So, this is the float controller, which tells the pump when to turn on when the water level's getting too high. So what you gotta do is, first of all, I like separating this because the wires are all long and everything gets in the way. There's a pin that keeps this connector together. Pull that pin out. Set it in here for right now so it doesn't get lost. Disconnect the controller for now. Okay. So now we need this piece of pipe, which fits into the top of the pump here. And then we need our float here, which attaches with a worm drive clamp. We're not going to put it this high. I'm just tightening it up here for right now. And you'll set this at the level that you want the pump to click on at. Where's my screwdriver? Darn it. All right. Much better. Let's see about there. I'll pull this back out so you guys can see how this is set up, and I'll bring the pump a little bit closer so you guys can see. And also I got to tighten up that fitting. Okay, so this is the pump. This is the float. There's two floats inside of this float. The low one, that controls whether the pump goes on and off. There's another float. You can see these two white discs in here. This top one, if that float gets activated, it means that for some reason the water level's too high, either the pump isn't pumping fast enough, which is unlikely. It's more likely that the pump or something failed, or something has somehow clogged it. So that's what that's for. If that second float gets triggered, it sets off our float controller here, which is also an alarm system. This will set off an alarm so you'll know something's wrong, you know, so you can go check it up. We do make battery backups and all that kind of stuff, but this one isn't getting one. This one's a pretty basic installation. All right, I got to go get a little wrench to tighten these up. This would just be too good if this little socket just happens to be that size. That would just be too good to be true, wouldn't it? Yep, too good to be true. All right, I'm gonna go old-fashioned with a whatchamacallit, the regular old a regular old wrench. Let's see. It's probably 8. Let me see if that's the right one. Yes, it is. Okay. So I'm tightening up. There's a rubber fitting here that has a metal jacket around it, and it's got worm drive clamps on that, so I'm tightening that up. I guess I'll hold it up so you guys could at least kind of see what I'm doing. Make sure it's in the proper place before I give it the final tighten. These ones you kind of have to tighten, not super evenly, but you should try to get it a little evenly, because the metal jacket will start twisting and it could throw off the whatchamacallit. It could throw off the metal jacket from the rubber sleeve, so just try to do it a little bit evenly. That one's getting snug, so. All right, nice and tight. Everything's nice and tightened up. All right, so this gets dropped back down inside here. So what I also like to do is I like to route all these wires back through the handle here, so because it kind of keeps them out of the way. So let's first route this one through the handle. This apart. Okay. Let's route this back through the handle. Okay. You'll see why I did that later, because there's a hole in the cover that is right in that corner, so that just helps it line up a little bit better. Okay. So now it's time to start routing all those wires and whatnot. Ugh. Okay, so first is this. This is this part of the cover. Put that up through the hole here. And there's a finish cover here too. Make it look a little neater. And it fits into there. And you've got this little thing with the selector of different sizes. To try to minimize the contact of the water, you know, whether it be from condensation, just from it getting anywhere. Then we got this. Boom. Okay, so now what's going to happen is our float controller. The pump gets plugged in. Let me just untangle these a bit. Not that it matters, they're all going to get wrapped up anyway. But this gets plugged into the float controller. This tells it, this delivers the power to it. And then this is the float. This goes and connects back up to the controller. Let's put that pin back in. That stops this from getting yanked out by accident. Okay, there's also a battery in here. Usually it's already in here. If not, it's probably on the ground here somewhere. Oh, come on, darn it. Oh! There's no battery in there. Okay, so if it's not here, then somebody's gonna have to put one in at some point. My dad's gonna have to get one when he's out. I don't think I have a battery. Okay, well, he's gonna have to take care of that. All right, so no battery around. So my dad's gonna have to get a 9-volt to put in there. I should have put my phone on Do Not Disturb. Sorry about that. I should have put my phone on Do Not Disturb. Okay, so now I have to put a 90-degree elbow on this. This is pretty much going to be against the wall. There's going to be a little bit of concrete that's laid back here, but pretty much what's going to happen is this is going to go this way, and it's going to go out and then up the wall. So that is going to have to be done. They call that field fitting because I don't know exactly how far it is to the wall. I can't do any of that. All I can do is this is pretty much as far as I can assemble things. He's going to do the rest of it on the job. So let's glue that on. Be very careful because I don't want to get primer all over the cover here, because then it looks like hell. I'll prime both these sides because eventually they're going to have to glue it together. So all right, everything's primed. Actually, you know what? I'm mistaken. You don't glue it yet. I'm a retard. I'm sorry. Because when you take this off, if you glue it, you can't get the cover off. What you got to do first is you have to put a fern coat and then do the elbow. I'm retarded. It's been a while, but I'm glad I caught it now before I actually glued that. So that's fine. I didn't do any damage to anything. You can continue going just like we were. He didn't put a check valve in here, so he's going to have to put a check valve later on down the line somewhere. Okay. So let's tighten this one up. Yeah, you don't glue that because then you can't get the cover off. Now if you have to do maintenance, you want to get this cover off, you just take it apart from this fitting and put the pipe to the side and you can get this off. Okay. Alright, so we need another short piece of pipe. I knew something didn't feel right. I was like, wait a minute, getting glue on top of the grabber, why is that usually not a problem? You know, I couldn't figure it out. Alrighty. There we go. So let's prime this one now. Alright. Now the glue. Oh, I hear my baby's crying. Let me go see what's up. I'll be back. That means they're awake. They're awake and they do not sound happy. Let me loosen this up a bit. There we go. Okay, so the rest is going to be up to them. I still have to find some tape and tape that drop down. But I got to go check on my kids. They woke up. I'm going to see if they want to come out with me for a minute. I'm going to set up their outdoor playpen. All right, they just woke up. They're going to want lunch soon. Probably wondering where I am. Come on. There we go. Come on. It just does not want to latch. This is more difficult than setting up the water grabber. I swear to God. There we go. No, I'm not joking. That's more difficult to do than this. Jeez, they made that difficult. All right, let's bring the babies out. It's real warm today. All right, babies. Want to go outside with Daddy? Hi, buddy. Daddy's almost done. Sit with Daddy for a minute. Sit with Daddy. I'm gonna go get your sister. It's kind of small, but at least you babies could keep me company. Hannah. Come here, baby doll. Wee. Let's get some fresh air. Let's get some fresh air, babies. How's that fresh air, huh? You're outside. You ain't normally out here, huh? This is new, huh? Huh, babies? Okay. I wonder if I should put a zip tie around the wires in there. I think I will. They give you two. And maybe I'll save these two for when they're wrapping them up. Let me get there was like a twisty tie that was around before. I wish I didn't just chuck it so carelessly. Now I want it and I don't know what the heck happened to it. It's not necessary. I'm just, you know, like I said, I always like trying to do things as good as I can do them. I think that's all. Let me put the owner's manual back in here. And this is going to end up getting mounted to the wall. And this gets plugged into the power source, wherever that may be. So I got to tell my dad there was no 9-volt, and that's it. He needs to put a 9-volt in there because there was not one in the box. He's going to have to go to Home Depot. What, buddy? We'll go back in a minute. I didn't want you babies to be alone. Why isn't this thing closing? What is it getting hung up on? Oh, I see. This one isn't pushed down far enough. There we go. Oh, now what's going on? There we go. All right, I got to find some duct tape, babies. I'm going to go look in the truck. I'll be right. You guys won't be able to see me on camera, but I'll be within eyesight of the babies. All right, screws can go back in there. I'm just trying to collect everything and sort stuff out. Let me see. This needs to go back in here. Some of these are my dad's tools. Leftover bits. There's my pen, my screwdriver. Drill bits, my drill, knife, that's his glue and his saw. What? Different being outside, huh, babies? See, when you were born, you were too small to spend too much time outside because you were so delicate, but now that you babies are so big, you can go outside some more. Yeah. Maybe. Let's go get the, maybe let's go get the stroller and go for a walk, babies, huh? Does that sound good? We'll do that later. I'll make a different stream for that so it's not confusing. Alright, this is all going with my dad. This is all my stuff here. Some more zip ties. Put all those in there. Put all the information in there. Is. That's right, Charlie. You like it outside, huh? It's different, huh? Yeah, Daddy, I'm not used to being outside. We gotta go to the beach. You babies are gonna love the beach. I know. You don't gotta say any more, buddy. I know exactly what you mean. Okay. This is all my stuff. Let me put this away now. I'll put this in my truck. I'll see if I have duct tape out there. Hi, babies. Hiya. Hiya, good friends. Can't find duct tape, babies. Can't find duct tape. Like I said, it's just to hold this in place, so I'm gonna use this packing tape. Same difference. It'll still do the job. Just gotta hold it in place until they put concrete. That's all that needs to be done. There we go. Come on. Oh, jerk. All right, I gotta make a cut real quick. Gotta get my knife back out. What? It's bright, huh? It's kind of bright, huh? What, babies? You look at me like, what's Daddy doing? What's Daddy doing? What's Daddy doing, huh, babies? All right, we're all done, babies. You only had to come out with me for a minute, but anyway, so that's the end result of the grabber. This will get installed down into the ground, and it'll keep somebody's basement nice and dry for them. So anyway, I guess I'll end it there. Just figured while I was doing this task, might as well do a live stream about it. Thanks for anybody that tuned in. See everybody later. Thanks for tuning in.